Hello, today we're doing another reading. Today's story is one that I've actually mentioned in a previous episode, and this is also a pasta that one of my supporters on Patreon suggested for me for their donation. So this one goes out to you, Portal of Earth. Today's episode is Ed, Ed, and Eddy Lost Episode. Now this one seems to be pretty popular. It's got like 150 comments. There's a video of it. I'm looking around and there's like fan art. It seems to be pretty popular. Yeah, this is everywhere. Jesus Christ. A lot about episode 34. I'm guessing that's the episode in the pasta itself. Like, I don't know if that's actually based on a real event. Like, I don't know. Like, I know the scheduling for Ed and Eddy got fucked up sometime in the later seasons, but I think the same thing actually happened with Avatar, but that's a different network. But I don't know if this is based on like a real scheduling issue or what. So, like, regardless, it's gonna be garbage. But yeah, let's read the story. Let's get into it. As you may know, the popular show Ed, Ed and Eddy has been running for a long time. It ended a while ago. When was this story written? History. Has been 2010? Yeah, 2010. Huh. Okay. I think Ed, Ed and Eddy was still running in 2010. Alright, that checks out. Anyway. However, between October 7th, 2003 and October 21st, 2003, episode 34 was accidentally released 1 week before it was scheduled to. So, was airing the same day as episode 34? Or no, episode 33? Like, was it airing the same day as episode 33? Because that's when it would be released, right? I don't get it. Am I not supposed to get it? Okay. Let's just move on from that, I guess. Like, if it was 1 week later, I would have gotten it, because it's like, oh, they missed their deadline or something came up. Like, that happens in animation, but a week earlier, that does not make sense, because there should have been the previous episode, unless it was, like, the start of the season or something, but okay. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. It was also known to some around the office the primary writer had been sick with the flu, and instead of going on to make episode 34, the show was supposed to replay episode 1. Huh? That's not how this works. That's not how it works. Are you for real? I don't think that's how animation works. Like, you kind of have to have it done already. But, okay. Like, the writing is the first thing that should take place, isn't it? The animation's what takes up all the time. Okay, whatever. At 5 a.m. Eastern, people reported a very disturbing new episode premiering on Cartoon Network. Some children were unfortunate enough to see it. What kids are fucking awake at 5 a.m.? Deal with your fucking kids, parents. Like, I remember this, okay? I remember that new episodes of Ed and Eddy were on Friday nights. They were on Cartoon Fridays. I remember that. And not 5 a.m. This wasn't like, you'd have to be, your kids would have to be fucking awake getting ready for church. Ed and Eddy didn't air on Sundays. Give me a fucking break. Apparently the quality of the episode was mediocre when held to the regular standards. Animation was choppy, sound was constricted and very muffled. Oh, that's terrible, because the sound design in Ed and Eddy is fantastic.
A comedian, huh?
It's easily one of the best parts of the show. Reports of a line running up and down, similar to a crappy VHS tape, were received. Scenery was described as overwhelmingly dark and depressing, without changing props and other background objects. Semicolon, stormy looking. That sounds like the semicolon and like just the structure of this altogether makes it sound like it's a police report or something. That's so weird. Characters also behaved oddly. Instead of the normal goofy hijinks inspired personalities. Goofy hijinks inspired person. That doesn't seem to make sense. I'm just gonna roll with it. Viewers complained they seemed extremely agitated, gratuitously hateful toward each other. Have you seen the show? Have you seen the show? Because no one likes the Eds. Like, even Kevin was kind of an asshole to the other kids at times. And they'd just kind of be assholes to each other for basically no reason. Like, that's not an uncommon occurrence in the show. and constantly about to begin sobbing after the lines. So, Jimmy, basically Jimmy's entire fucking character, the protagonist, you know you got 3 of those, right? You know you have 3, Ed, and Eddy. I'm going to assume it means Eddy, because, like, he's, I guess, the primary Ed, but you got 3 of them. No one knows why, but I'm sorry, but if you just specified which one, then I'd be fine with this. Like, oh, Eddy had a very bad lisp. No one knows why, but he spoke with a sexual tone that further bothered the viewers. That's what the next line is, by the way. He spoke with a sexual tone. I was one of these viewers. Okay, at least it's not like, oh, I heard this from some guy. Like, that's something. You're 1 for 30 right now at Ed and Eddy Lost episode. The episode began with Eddy walking down the street with Ed. I noticed that Double D was missing. It's written down as Ed with 2 Ds. I'm just saying Double D because that makes it so much easier to differentiate which one is which. There was an angular shot coming from in front being in hyphen front, of the 2 to show them walking toward the viewer. Oh, fuck off! Fuck right off! He, in parentheses, Eddy, just say Eddy. He, parentheses, Eddy, was wearing the angry look he does when something goes wrong. His eyes were red around the iris. What? They don't have irises. The characters in Ed, Edd n Eddy do not have irises. They just have pupils. This is the eye, and then a pupil. They don't got irises. So they're red. His eyes are red. Okay. Just completely fucking red. Ed looked absolutely forlorn and practically dragged behind Eddy. Tears in his eyes. Oh, it's like the episode where he got grounded and his parents took away his stairs.
Now all we have to do is go up the... What happened to the stairs?
My parents took them down because I am grounded.
That's disturbing.
Which were both lazy and looking in opposite outward directions. Yeah, that sounds like Ed. Kevin, the series antagonist. Have you seen the show? Have you seen the show? Because I wouldn't describe Kevin as antagonistic. He's just kind of a dick. Like, keep in mind, the show is about the Eds trying to swindle children out of their money. And Kevin is like, nah, I'm not cool with that. How about you fuck off? I wouldn't describe that as antagonistic behavior. Moving on, Kevin, the series antagonist, was riding his bike opposite of the Eds toward them. The shot became blurry, and low moans were heard coming from Eddy before Kevin hit him, which never happened because the screen went to black. What? Okay, I'm guessing like Kevin is just about to hit him, and then the screen cuts to black immediately. But it says that it never happened, it's confusing me. The writing style is confusing me. The screen then snapped back, and Kevin was again headed toward Eddy. There's a lot of hyphens I'm noticing. The guy likes his hyphens. The view was so blurry this time, all I saw was a green blob headed toward a yellow one. Oh, I don't care. Fuck me. Again, the low moan, only this time it sounded like the microphone was broken, and loud static came, greatly overshadowing the moan. At least, he didn't say that it was pixelated. That would have sucked. A claymation sequence of Double D... Okay, hang the fuck on. Hang the fuck on. I noted that Ed was missing with 2 Ds, but then, 3 paragraphs later, there you are referring to him as Double D. There's no consistency. There's no consistency. I'm losing my shit right now, because this story is blowing my mind. A claymation sequence of Double D sleeping in Eddy's bed came up. Honestly, it may have just been the abruptness, but I jumped and shivered? What? It's just Double D sleeping in a bed. Like, I can understand the loud statics freaking you out, but this ain't spooky. Waking up and getting out of bed, he moved oddly around the circular room, the fast pitter-patter of footsteps being the only audio. The steps... That doesn't seem right. Look, there's an apostrophe at the end of steps. And like, if if it were referring to, like, if it were possessive of the steps, I don't know, that doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. The step sounds were very clear as I was shown a bird's eye, not bird's eye view, just a bird's eye, of him scampering around the room. I think you can refer to it as a bird's eye, but like, just little things are starting to piss me off. There were no visible doors. Ed, with 2 Ds again, began screeching, in parentheses, sounded like a fisher cat. Okay, apparently it's like a kind of weasel. It looks like a mix between a wolverine and a weasel. What sound does this thing make? That is the most specific fucking thing I've ever heard. That is incredibly specific. Cause it's not even a real cat. It's like a member of the weasel family. You have to know about that sort of thing. Jesus Christ. Double D began screeching, sounded like a fisher cat, as he moved wildly around the cell of a room faster and faster, until the screen began blurring again. Why is it blurring? Why? Like, the blurring doesn't really make sense to me, because it's certainly not scary. I don't know. The purple room's color swallowing a now orange blur. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. There's no theme that would make blurring make sense. And it's like not scary, so I don't understand. An extreme close-up of Eddy's front door sat in absolute silence for a maddeningly long time. At least 2 of dead silence and a door. Ah! Oh no, he has a door. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Maybe the story's too deep for me. Like, maybe it's like Evangelion, where I just have to reread it a few times, and it's like, oh, now I get it. Do I have to go on the Ed, Edd n Eddy Lost Episode wiki to understand? Like, to get the fucking information that was only available in a PS2 game released only in Japan about the backstory? Will that help me? Will that help me understand this absolute clusterfuck of a story? Oh my god, this is stupid. Next, we see Jimmy and Sarah at a doctor of some sort. In parentheses, probably oral. There's jokes I can make, but this story makes me not want to make jokes. Jesus Christ. Jimmy, obstructed in view by a hanging lamp, is... Oh, we have the tent swaps. Is crying loudly. I'm sure I missed some tent swaps down the line there, because this story is not well written, and I had to keep interrupting myself every fucking sentence. Is crying loudly, with Sarah trying to comfort him in an unusually warm fashion. Have you seen the show? Have you seen the show? He's like the only one Sarah is actually nice to that is not out of character for her. It hurts, Sarah. It hurts. I'm not doing the Jimmy voice. It's too fucking high. Suddenly, the door of the room in smashed open by a new character, a dentist. The room of the door in smashed open. Okay, sure. His face wasn't shown because he was tall enough to be out of the shot. Sarah was escorted out of the room. Jimmy was shown. End of sentence. That's an entire sentence. Sarah was escorted out of the room. Jimmy was shown. His headgear was mangled. The front bent upward, stretching his lip very high tearing proportions. 2. There is supposed to be a 2 here. Stretching his lip 2. Very high tearing proportions. Even then, that doesn't make sense. Like, you can't fix this. You can't fix this shit. There's no doing it. And by the way, that's nothing new for an episode of Ed, Edd n Eddy. Like, Jimmy gets his headgear fucked up like every episode. It happens all the damn time. The front of his gums was trickling blood and teeth were missing. The disturbing part, we know what the disturbing part was he had lost both arms and legs beforehand apparently, and sat a paraplegic, quadriplegic, cause it refers to all four limbs, which is what you are describing. I'm getting kind of angry right now. I almost cried as I came to the conclusion the others had beaten him up and bent his headgear. Have you seen the show? Every episode, Jimmy gets fucked up. What about the episode where he gets crushed by a tree? What about the episode where he bites into a bowling ball that fucks up his teeth? You can't make this up. Like aside from blood and this stupid blurring shit, half of this stuff is not out of line for an episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy. The camera stayed on his mangled face for a few seconds, still as a picture, silent as ever. Commercials came on. We are instantly assaulted with a very hairy Rolf in his darkened shed, fisting the cow repeatedly. Why? 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 I have nothing. You can't say anything about that. Rolf, the son of a shepherd, probably the best character in the show. He gets 2 sentences where he fists a cow. I'm speechless. I am fucking speechless. When I made the Squidward suicide episode, and I brought this up as an example, I hadn't actually read this. I had not read this. This is my first time going through this. I just assume that oh yeah, it's that bad. It has to be that bad, because how do you make Ed, Edd and Eddy scary? And how do you do that in a format as tired as Lost episodes? But this is dreadful. This is awful. There's no reason for anything that's happening. It's just a series of sequences that the author thought, hey, that might be kind of weird. But there's no reason. Like, not having substance, whatever. Like, this is basically a place for amateur writers. But having no reason for anything that's happening it's hard. It's hard to get through. It's not even, hey, wouldn't it be scary if... This is just, hey, wouldn't it be weird if... It's almost surrealist. Like, to bring up an episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy, it's like the one where they're trying to figure out how stuff works and just tear the entire universe apart. And then Eddy wears Jimmy's outline as a hat and eats the sun. Like, hey, wouldn't it be weird if that happened? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's not even for the sake of comedy, like in that episode. And it's certainly not for the sake of being creepy. Let's just keep going. The visual loops and gets blurry again as the scene pans out. This fucking blur shit, I swear to God. You know what? I see video right here at the bottom of the screen. You know why it gets blurry? Because this guy made a video to go along with it. And I bet you anything, it goes blurry so that it makes the editing easier for him. So that he doesn't have to, like, animate entire new sequences from scratch. He can just blur it out and put some red shit in there to make it look like there's blood. Naz is reading a magazine on her couch. The quality is now perfect. I'm guessing it's 2003 right now. It is now. 2003 is right now. This is where we are. Eddy is now alone. And by the way, there's no transitions to these new scenes. There's nothing. It's just like, oh, and then there was Rolf, and then there was Naz, and then there's Eddy. Oh, look nice, there's Johnny, and then Double D again. Like, it's just, then there's this, then there's this, then there's this. It's just like, oh, hey, we gotta get through all the characters. So then they showed up in their own scenes. Never mind where, like, never mind anything, how we get to this. Never mind the reason. No, we just need to have characters. Eddy is now alone, without Ed. The quality declines worse than before, and he is still walking. The sun now lightening the mood somewhat, as he smiles and begins running. The door is shown again, and we see through Eddy's eyes as he reaches out and opens it. His house is nice and bright, but a very badly played violin is blaring. That was an episode. That was an episode of Ed, Edd, and Eddy, where Ed's trying to learn how to play the violin. And he fucking sucks at it. The only audio in this scene as he makes his way through the house. Eddy opens the door to his room. Johnny is shown under Naz's couch cushion as he crawls out on all fours in a comedic way and pops up behind her, still oblivious. I laughed because someone forgot to draw his eyes and I thought of a mole. Funny story, Baxter, my boy Baxter, managed to fucking kill a mole in our backyard. I didn't even know we had moles here. Like, you couldn't have killed... Hey Baxter! You couldn't have killed a fucking gopher? We got all those in the front yard. No, he killed a mole. Moles don't fucking do anything. Oh, and by the way, I like how this is a comedic moment and the author is laughing in what's supposed to be a scary story. Suddenly, I stopped laughing as he started swallowing her head. Still in a cartoonish fashion, of course, but this was different. He and she stayed like this until she started kicking and struggling. Johnny held her like this until she went limp. A zoom in on his face revealed extremely small human eyes. You know this kid got a vor fetish from that. You know he got a vor fetish from that. And that's basically like the scene where Eddy tells Ed to eat his mattress.
Now eat your mattress.
Yum!
Excuse me, Ed, but is this your... Good Lord, man!
That hit the spot.
Like, none of this is out of place. I mean, okay, this is a bit out of place, but still, to an extent, none of this is out of place. And then the last paragraph, Double D was laying on Eddy's floor, no longer in claymation. The camera showed Eddy's house for the remainder of the episode, about 3 minutes, and the next program began on the spot. I like how he didn't, like, bother writing anything for the last 3 minutes of the episode. He's just like, oh, same shot, last 3 minutes. That's it. And that's the end of the story. That's the end of the story. This took half an hour. This took half an hour for me to read. Like, this is a short story, okay? This is not long. Yeah, this is not very long. And it took half an hour for me to get this. And, of course, there's a video. So, headphones on, let's watch this shit. 2 minutes. The video's 2 minutes long. And it wastes 10 seconds of that was static. Okay, that's... It is not this one shot the whole time. It is not this one fucking shot the whole time. I swear to... It's one shot. It's one shot, and it's the most boring part of the pasta, the last paragraph. The camera showed Eddy's house for the remainder of the episode about 3 minutes, and the next program began on the spot. Yeah, it's that. It's that. It's that for 2 straight fucking minutes with like, oh look, I put distorted effects on it. And I put loud noises, so it's scary, right? And yeah, I was absolutely right. The blur is to make it not obvious that this is a Photoshop, and it failed because Double D's color here does not match the lighting of the room whatsoever. So, good job on that one. Let's read some comments. Despite everyone hating "Oh, this," I actually enjoyed it. Sure, some Thizgen need wording corrected, but I give it a 10 out of 10. Your comment need wording corrected. So, no, this is not a 10 out of 10. This is a very, very bad out of 10. This is not a good story at all. The pacing is all over the place. The vocabulary is very lackluster. It was so bad it was good in a comical sense. Yeah, I'll agree with that. The story's description is a mess. There's so much random occurring here. And only 2 segments, Eddy's plot and Double D's plot, had continuations abundant. 3 out of 10. I think 3 out of 10 is a bit generous for this. And even then, like, Eddy doesn't have like, there's no connection with Eddy's plot. Like, he's with Ed, and Ed looks sad, but then Ed's gone, and he's just like, okay, let's go running home. But, like, that has no connection with Double D's plot at all. Which you'd think it would, because, like, he's opening the door to his own room, but that has nothing to do with what's happening with Double D. I remember seeing this episode when it came on. I thought it was some weird side effect from the extra spicy burrito I'd had as a midnight snack. Also, what do you mean when you say that Rolf was fisting a cow? I saw the episode, but I don't know what you mean by something. Oh, and I love this response. First, the episode isn't real, it's only a story. Second of all, to fist means to beat up something. Okay. 8 out of 10. It feels like there should be a part 2 for this. My opinion, though. It's a bad opinion. Stop having that. I haven't watched the episode, but judging by the description, it's perhaps a bit too unnerving for a comic show like Ed, Edd n Eddy. It's not real. It's not real. Not really all that great, lacks details, things that would make it more believable to the show. You can't just add a bunch of creepy stuff and expect it to stick. 3.5 out of 10. Like, yeah, that's pretty much my problem with it, is that it's just too much random garbage being thrown at a wall, and nothing stuck. Nothing was scary. It wasn't even unnerving. It wasn't really anything. Thank God my YouTube's on restricted mode, and with a reply of, yeah, you're lucky, you would have seen one of the most boring creepypasta videos in existence. Yeah, this video sucks. Like, even the Squidward suicide videos I've seen have had more production value put into than this. It's a picture with... a picture obviously made in Photoshop, by the way, with just some filter over it, and, oh, creepy sounds in the background. Lol, I watched that episode, but I only remember the part with Jimmy. Is there any way to watch it in internet? No, because it's not real. This is a fucking long comment. I don't understand why these lost episodes are so popular. I mean, who in their right mind would deliberately make some disturbing episode of a cartoon, a children's cartoon no less? An episode that is so off from the format of said cartoon, and there is nobody at the top that looks at this and says, hey, what is this shit, we can't air this, get rid of it. I get that some shows have episodes that are not aired for one reason or another, but come on. There would be no logical sense that someone would take the time and put so much effort onto one episode that would not even in the slightest be part of the show it's supposed to be part of. And in this case, that people at the network saw this and approved it for airing. Or someone, somewhere, came across this from some website and saw this and is now scarred for life. You'd have to be really fucking fragile to let a cartoon mess up your life. Yeah, that's basically shit we already know. I really like this one a lot. As a fan of lost episode pastas, it takes a good one to scare me. What with the abundance of half-assed ones, and this one definitely gave me nightmares when I first read it. One of the better lost episode pastas, in my opinion. That comments made me want to piss out my pants. XD. Oh, there's so many fucking people saying it's true. I mean, okay, here's I'm gonna cap this off. I'm gonna end this off with two comments I got from Alaya Monet. So I'm gonna start off with this one, which Alaya Monet responds to. I don't get why this is so popular. I mean, there's just a bunch of creepy crap happening in the story for no reason. Why did Johnny swallow Naz's head? Why is Ed depressed? None of this is answered. 3.5 out of 10. Very agreeable, except for the 3.5 out of 10. Lots of 3s, by the way. I would give it less than that. And then, to which Alaya Monet replies, no, Voodoo Vice fan, I'm not a liar. The lost episode was real. You can't say I'm a liar because you know nothing about me or my childhood. You don't know anything about what I've seen at all, so you couldn't possibly tell if I was lying or not. I understand you have questions about the lost episode, but honestly, I have no clue what it was supposed to be about. I was a child, and still, till this day, I don't understand what I've seen or what it was about. I don't really care about creepypastas like other people, and this was the first time I ever commented on one. Except no, it wasn't, because she did it like 2 days earlier. But the only reason I did it was because I remembered watching this episode and wanted to tell others that I remembered it too. If you still think I'm a liar, go ahead. I do. I was the type of person that said, if I didn't see it, I don't believe it, like Santa Claus. But I'd never go up to a person and point out liar at first glance with something I don't know anything about. Maybe it's capital because I'm too much of a nice person. It would be nice if you tried to be one too. Episode 34 is real. There is a screenshot of the episode, but it's on the page of the episode on Geoshia's creepypasta wiki. Oh, it's real because a screenshot exists of it. I guess Jeff the Killer is real too because a picture exists of him. Okay, sure. And then here's her other comment. This story is true, by the way. When I first watched this on YouTube, I thought it was just another story, but it's not. As I watched, I started to remember watching the episode and feeling some kind of way. When Double D was in Eddy's room and when Johnny swallowed Naz's head. I don't know why or how I forgot that I ever saw it, but whoever wrote this original creepypasta story helped me remember it. The remake video they tried to make looks nothing like the original, but I guess we'll never find it, right? To which everyone replies, "You are such a bad liar. Don't make stuff up. None of creepypastas are real. It sounds like you just wrote what you saw in the YouTube video and posted it. Liar, shut up." But then someone with the exact same profile picture says, "I believe you?" Okay, I said I was going to end it off at the last comment, but once again, heard about this pasta on Sonic Watches, the top 25 lost episodes creepypasta, as some guy with a Sonic OC for his profile picture. What? What kind of video is that? It's some guy that holds a Sonic plush in his hands and reacts to videos. I have to see that now, and I probably will at some point. But that's it. That's Ed, Edd and Eddy, the lost episode. I hope it was worth the $5, Portal of Earth. I'm so sorry. This has taken 45 minutes to record. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, this was awful. This was really bad. As far as lost episodes go, would I call this worse than Squidward's suicide? Maybe. I guess we'll have to see for my next top worst video, cause I need to think about this. Jesus Christ. It is shorter than Squidward's suicide, I will give it that. And, like, being a kid who actually saw the episode being aired makes a little more sense than an unpaid intern being given exclusive access. But at the same time, like that one guy in the comments said, it doesn't make any sense that it would air in the first place. Cause, like, how would that get past anyone? I mean, Rolf fisted a cow. You don't get that. You don't get that in Ed, Edd and Eddy. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all again in the next episode. And, I hope it's better than this story. I really do. Probably not. Until next time.